Welcome back to Bucket's WNBA edition. I am your host, Jim Turvey. Got two people joining me for what will be the final episode of the year, I guess. Yeah, because WNBA is nice. It doesn't have those split seasons when you look at Basketball Reference or whatever. A nice, clean 2025 season wrapped up. Probably now almost 10 days ago. Did one episode last week where I kind of gave my final thoughts, and I wanted to make sure to get final thoughts from Maria and Dano as well. So joining me today, as noted right there, Maria Marino, Dano Mataya. You've heard them a bunch this season. So we're going to kind of just launch it. We got the mailbag that Dano did so well to get so many questions for. We've got, I think, like half a dozen of those left. And I just wanted to get kind of broad thoughts where folks are standing these days. A lot going on in the WNBA, even though it is the off season. And Maria, Dano, I'm gonna say hi to you, but I'm gonna skip to Maria because I know Maria has got big thoughts and was hitting up the group chat with some of these thoughts, but wanted a platform to share some of these takes, these walks, these long walks, clipping up takes. So Dano, I'll quickly say how's it going with you, and then we'll throw it over to Maria. How's it going, Dano?
It's good. I got my voice all the way back.
Yeah, that was intense.
Well, it only took 2 weeks.
I have it here. If anyone knows how to get this put in a slab, my official warning from the WNBA.
Oh my God. Yes.
DM me if you know how, please. I will say there. I mean, I got some really mean DMs after posting that on Twitter. A lot of people thought I was being misogynistic or, yelling at the players or something, doing something that, like, people who don't know me, like, just coming into my DMs. So, what I did, which is not good.
You want to clarify the spectrum of the not good?
Yeah. Well, when Nate got ejected, I didn't see. I mean, from my vantage point, I couldn't see. I was right next to the Aces bench, but I just stood up and stared at the ref and just gave her the double birds for like 10 seconds, like holding it, no facial expression. And so then I got pulled to the back, and they were like, "We need to see your ID." And I was like, "No, you don't. You're not a cop." And I'm like, "They're like, we have to send it to the league." And I'm like, "Oh, this is great. I don't know if I'll get credentialed for anything anymore." But I also go by Dano Mataya a lot. So, what are you gonna do? It's my evil twin who had way too many Bud Lights in the lounge and gave the refs the double birds, and for that, I apologize.
I have a question about this. This team taking me back, but you also posted a photo of said referee.
Yeah.
Was that in game? Was that like in the midst of it, or was this like after the fact?
It was after the fact, for sure.
Okay.
Well, or I guess it was after doing the double birds. After I did the double birds, I sat back down.
You were still under the influence of alcohol. Is what I'm getting.
I was under the influence of alcohol at 1 p.m. that day, West Coast time.
What could have possibly gone wrong? Who could have seen this coming?
No, I mean, I think I had a great time outside of the game going the way it did.
You sounded like you had a great time when I called you on my way home.
Oh my God, when we were at the bar?
ESPN digital post-game show. And I'm like, who the hell is still going to be up right now as I try to stay awake driving home to New Jersey from Connecticut? Let's call Dano.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was having a great time.
I saw the security staff at the bar who gave me my warning. I bought them both a drink. I bought a couple.
Maybe they won't submit your ID then. Maybe they'll just...
Yeah. I think they said they already sent it. So, I mean, I do not care. I love my position in this league, and I've been supporting it for a long time. I hope they see the value in that.
You have.
But I tweeted, don't care if you're a fan of the Aces, come to the bar. And then, all of a sudden, 4 people walked in, and they're Aces fans. And I was like, I'll buy you a drink. Yeah. Congratulations. And it sucks. It sucks because, you get over it, right? Oh, man, I wanted this to happen so bad. And then, we have, friends coming in town this weekend, and I'm cleaning the guest room. And, of course, oh, there's the Satu Sabali jersey I was wearing. This brings back the worst memories of that game.
Yeah, just bury the jersey.
Yeah, I know. But lo and behold, I can't wait to get that thing slapped up. I'm very proud of myself. I think I really, because like in New York, I was a fan, but I was still like kind of like doing like a lot of media stuff. I gave it my all for Phoenix, and I hope they accept me and love me. And yeah, so that's long-winded. I know you want to get to Maria, but I had to leave with my warning story.
No, it's okay. No, I like this is a perfect warm-up, honestly.
Yeah.
And for the people, I wish we could have had you on the pod the next day. Your voice was like one of the most amazing things.
It might have been unlistenable, though.
It would have definitely been.
I mean, it was very hard to talk.
You sent an audio message in the group chat.
Yeah. Save
you were
that.
like, is this real?
Yeah.
But I'll just add this from like a basketball perspective. I'm curious your thoughts, Dano. I mean, first of all, I do think the series was a bit closer than the sweep indicated, particularly since two of the games were a point differential of like 2-3 points. And I also think the closeout game was very much within reach late. Like the Aces really had to make some clutch plays to close it out. But that being said, I just think I think the size element just came back to bite Phoenix. I think matchup wise, like it was a tougher matchup, I feel like, with Indiana, with Aaliyah Boston, and then even Seattle with Malonga. Like I just don't think they had that one player that could really throw off Asia, because AT, she was a little bit of it was a little bit of a quandary. Like I wondered at points if the hand was bothering her. I'm not gonna like put any stock in that really. But also she just had trouble, like game 2 just got in foul trouble guarding Asia. Like it just didn't seem like they had the answer for Asia defensively. But also I think that Phoenix like hung its hat on physicality the entire postseason run, and somehow that kind of got negated. And I don't know, I don't even think it really was officials related per se. I mean, I know the closeout game, there was definitely a lot of questions about officiating. Kalia Copper called out the officials, but I also think Phoenix was the team that was like playing regardless of officiating, right? At least that was like sort of the slogan, like we're going to play no matter what. And then until it wasn't being super physical in their favor, then, it didn't work out for them. But I just thought that, Alyssa Thomas, like her edge, her strength is the physicality. And for whatever reason, she wasn't dictating that.
I agree 100%. Natasha Mack can only be serviceable for 5 minutes at a time.
She was actually like the least effective guarding Asia from the numbers that I remember.
Amazing, because like she's someone, it just goes to show that like matchups and size and certain things matter, because like she's an advanced stats about, like I kind of love Natasha Mack, and it was just not the matchup for her. It really wasn't.
Well, I mean, it's who is a matchup for Asia Wilson too. I mean, and Jim did a good job of giving her flowers for like 2 straight weeks after we realized it was.
And I've given a lot of flowers to Asia. Like
I hate that we have to say that. Also, that we have to give flowers to Asia. It's like, we've acknowledged she's the best player in the world.
Absolutely. Like I'm saying she's the GOAT at this point.
I know.
I Jim's last episode, and
there's so much of they want her to be talked about, like Aces fans or people on Twitter. It's like I think people are. It's but also it's probably good.
She's getting her due.
I mean, Asia does a great job of keeping a chip on her shoulder for being as good as she is. It's incredible.
The Aces do in general, and I don't think it's a coincidence that I think that does genuinely drive.
Yeah, the Aces. Yeah, I mean, like it's like what Connecticut used to do with the disrespect thing, but it never really worked. Aces are just for as bad as an organization as the Raiders are in the NFL. All credit to Mark Davis.
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, he was serious about investing in the team. It certainly came back to help them. But I talked about this, like I posted clips on X or whatever, but I talked about Asia. I talked about Jewel Lloyd being phenomenal X
God,
Factor.
she was so good. My tweet got dragged too. That was the other thing. It's like a worst take. And I told Jim I had a terrible take out there that.
But you know what? But this is why we respect and love you, Dano, because you put it all out there.
Yeah. And
come what may.
I needed the problem for this whole season. If I could sum it up to a couple weeks, was just that Ace's climb and the Liberty fall just ruined everything. Classic New York for screwing everything up. Yeah, I mean, like, if the Aces aren't the 2 seed and things break their way, like, granted they got there, but everybody else losing that was in front of them. I mean, if they match up with Minnesota in the series before, like, are they making it to the finals? I don't know.
I don't know, but I do think Minnesota would have given the better finals. I just think that just the way that the 2 teams matched up would have been interesting. But the other thing I was going to mention too, which I've talked about, Becky Hammon. Like, I mean, this is an organization that's they've had some investigations and whatnot, but Becky Hammon can coach. She might be the best coach in the league. I know, like, we talk about Cheryl a lot, whatever, but I just think her ability to make adjustments and, I don't think Nate Tibbetts necessarily did a poor job. I just think that he couldn't adjust as quickly and as well as she could. And, she did what he didn't do in what was it, game 3, taking the timeout late to try to get the best play. He was just I think a step behind. She was like, oh, zone defense, oh, box and 1, oh, triangle and 1. Like, she's just like throwing all these things, and like they just couldn't adjust fast enough. I mean, sometimes they did. Like, I guess it was game 3, when they were playing. Phoenix was playing horrific defense in the first half. They allowed 9 threes. Second half didn't allow a 3. Like, they adjusted well. They just couldn't quite finish it off. So it was still entertaining. I mean, we got some, like, the fact that we got the Asia game winner, like, that's not a shot that's going to be talked about for a while. And I think you brought this up, Dano, back-to-back game 3s in the finals with like epic game winning shots
on the road by road teams.
Yeah, so that's pretty dope. I mean, those
I had to be in the background of the goddamn picture.
History right there. So, but yeah, Aces Dynasty.
It really is.
Favorite.
I think we leave the season recap there. It's a fitting end. I know we have twisting all of our arms to give them credit, but we will end it there, giving them credit. So, Maria, I'm going to transition us into kind of the broader mailbag topics with one that I know you kind of wanted to talk about in general. So Moreau 014 says CBA / ideas to fix schedule. So I'm going to treat CBA as one thing, which I know you had some thoughts on. And if you have any schedule thoughts, to me, that's the lesser part of this question. But I'm going to go to you first to kind of talk through some kind of CBA stuff and your thoughts on the latest.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest question mark with the schedule is you're obviously adding 2 more teams. We saw 44 games this year. And I think the biggest issue was the calendar year didn't change very much for the W, but yet you added games. So you saw a lot more instances of like 4 games in 6 days and just like not a lot of time to recover. So this is not the number one issue in the CBA. We're going to get into that in a second, which is salary, but it's going to be a major issue as far as when does the W season start and end? Like, are we talking, it can't start any sooner because of the college season and the draft. And so does that mean, like, am I wrong about that? Like, there's no way the college season, like the college season kind of handicaps you really for when it starts. Is there any
way, I mean, this would be a huge change, but is there any way you just have this isn't a great fix for sure, but what if it was like, you stretch the season back a couple months and the people just come into the league like almost on a delay. I don't think that works though, because then you just have, rookies sitting around for several months. But you could stretch the season out. But again, I don't know if January, February, March is like a time that they really want to be on the calendar.
I don't think they want to either. I mean, I personally don't prefer it. I know basketball players would probably love to play basketball in basketball season, but for people like us that I like to consume basketball year round. I like to watch a lot of NBA. I like to watch a lot of men's and women's college. And so I love that I can really like zero in on the W, in the summer months. I understand why they had to do it, but I hated how years ago, the NBA a few years back was like, okay, we're going to start the season 2 weeks earlier so that we can try to have fewer back-to-backs. It's like, really, we all know that the NBA season should be shorter. Let's just get that out there. The way the game has changed, I'm pretty sure they established 82 game schedule in like the 60s. And I guess for some reason we have to keep that forever.
Yeah.
But, for money-making purposes, most likely that's not going to change. We know the playoffs are absurdly long in the NBA. Like, there's no reason why we need 7-game series in round 1, round 2. I'm sorry, we don't, but whatever. But that being said, it is what it is. So I think you're going to see the W season at least go through all the way through October.
Yeah.
But I guess that again is secondary because, we have this greater issue of the salary structure and the CBA. And so what I really wanted to get off my chest is, the last time I spoke to you guys, it was maybe a couple of days removed from Nafisa Collier's sort of scathing remarks about Kathy Engelbert. And it was prior to Kathy Engelbert actually addressing the media before finals game 1. And, I came on with you, and I think defend is a strong word, but I tried to sort of outline that I felt like everyone was pouncing on like just how awful Kathy was or is. And I think there's definitely some truth to that and some gripes. But kind of my stance was like, okay, she's done some good things. Like, let's just remember some of those good things she has done. But I've largely changed my tune, and I'm not negating the fact that she has done some good work. Like, I certainly think coming on board and having the pandemic, having the wobble, I think what she did with corporate sponsorships, particularly before it was the popular thing to do, I think that was like really important. And I also think we don't really talk enough about like her role as commissioner might be like the most difficult of major sports commissioners, in my opinion, because she's not only answering to the WNBA owners, she's answering to the NBA owners, and a very like weird ownership structure, which is partly on her. And I'll get to that in a second. She complicated it with the capital raise that she did back in 2022. So like, I do want to give her some credit for that. But where it turned for me was her address to the media, I really felt was unsatisfactory. And I felt like she should have been better prepared, knowing those questions were coming. And I guess the bottom line for me is she may have flat out denied the comments about Caitlin Clark and that she should be thankful and all that. I think she said it. I think she said it all. And I just don't buy I don't buy her response. And I understand now why the players don't trust her. And I was kind of downplaying the relationship aspect of it. I was like, oh, like, is it that big a deal that she doesn't text Nafisa Collier, how are you doing? But when I really think about it, I think it more broadly reflects just how she feels. And I think that there's still this mentality with her, with NBA leadership that they don't believe. Like this is where my big issue is. You don't believe. You still don't believe. You think, you're the mindset of, well, we got to make sure this is sustainable, rather than this shit is flying high and there's no sign of stopping. Like that's, I think, my biggest issue. And if that is the mentality that you're going in with, I understand why these players think that she doesn't value them the way that they should be valued. And this is the type of mentality that went into this $75 million capital raise that was announced in 2022 that was for 16% of the league.
Yeah.
And that valued the league in its entirety at less than $500 million. And now, a few years later, like the Valkyries alone are worth that. Now, originally I was thinking, well, at the time they needed capital. These NBA owners, for years they've underinvested. They could have come up with 75 million easily. And I'm not saying it even had to be on them, but the fact that you sold this amount of the league coming off of back-to-back seasons, one in which you had zero attendance and one in which you had limited attendance, and you somehow thought that was going to be an indicator of like where the league was. Like, does that make sense? Like, I just felt like thinking back on it, and I know hindsight's 2020, the capital raise, I do think went into some great things. Kathy talked about she came in and there was one person in the marketing department, right? And then now there's 25. And like they had to build out stuff. They had to market. I understand they had to do all that. But anyway, basically what I'm saying is I really do. I feel that the miscommunication or Kathy's lack of ability to communicate properly and like just reach these players is coming back to bite her, and it's making these CBA negotiations like super contentious, because I just think that the players feel like they feel what I'm feeling from the outside is they don't believe in us, and the players are feeling that tenfold. And so anyway, well, that's the first gist of what I wanted to get off my chest. I'll let you guys like get a word in.
Well, I'll throw Dano in a second, but yeah, I mean, your point can be taken in that like there can be strengths and weaknesses to different commissioners, right? And there can be strengths that she has, but like for right now in this moment, her skill set does not seem to align perfectly. But Dan, what are your thoughts on everything Maria said and the CBA and all negotiations in general?
She's always been just a buzzword guru for me. Like, just says synergy and things like that. And I think I was pretty candid with my remarks, saying that I think anybody could have succeeded in this time. But yeah, bring it back to that capital raise. Just take out a loan, go into debt like the rest of us. Like. Yeah, I mean, just also shout out to whoever invested. Just brilliant. Just calling Fee a liar after that, it was glad the games were entertaining to take attention away from it, because it's not a good look. I tweeted like when it happened, like when the comment was made, like she can't come back from this. Same players should be on their knees. That's when I know the WNBA would really have made it, when we have AI videos of Kathy Engelbert, like really sneakily, like I don't know, how have we not gotten that yet? I'll build that in a little bit, but or maybe I missed the boat, but really, like, goodness, it was like watching, in Succession when the rocket blows up. Like it's a tragic look for the league, and you're completely spot on. She was not ready for those questions.
And you said when we last spoke, you were like, you said, I think I could have done a better job with certain things. I'm telling, like, I could have come up with something that was more like plausible or believe, like, even if it was just like, look, like some things may have gotten misconstrued, or this is not what I meant. Just flat out saying, this is not what I meant. I really want to discuss it with Nafisa and go from there. Like, just get something. But, you know, and I know commissioners in general are disliked. Like, let's put that out there too. Like, she's not the only commissioner that's gotten booed. The most successful commissioners ever are, you know, largely disliked. But I think when you talked about, Dana, like those statements, like I almost didn't believe it because I just was so floored at it.
Yeah.
But when I really thought about it, I was like, there's no way Nafisa's just making up these specific words. And my problem with it, it goes back to what I said about that type of mentality of like, you should be thankful for us. You should be so lucky. Like, and we're done with that. We're like, women's basketball players and women's athletes are done with that. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Like, we're done with that. Like, oh, we're so lucky. Like, no, we feel, and we have numbers to show like this, and we keep hearing the term rocket ship growth and all this stuff. Like, just pay us. Like, I'm done being thankful. I'm done being thankful for whatever you feel is like acceptable. And here's the other thing. Just because the, you know, potential offer that they have out there. So Annie Costable of Front Office Sports reported like a max salary of around $800K, minimum around $300K. Just because that is significantly higher than what they got before doesn't mean that it reflects their true value currently. Period.
100%. 100%. Very well said, Maria. Dana, do you want any final words on this, or should we slide over? I mean, I honestly, I don't even, you summed it up so well that I don't have much to add. I think you did a very good job of laying it out. But Dana, did you have any final thoughts on this topic at all?
Yeah, just believe. I believe everything that Nafisa says. Believe women always, unless it's Kathy Engelbert.
Can I just add like one or two other things? I like wrote down
absolutely.
So, you know, I the one other thing I wanted to get into separately was like the officiating, but just to go back to the ownership structure, like it's just very odd. The NBA is very much involved. They, you know, technically the NBA owners are 42%, but there are NBA owners that also own W teams, and there are NBA owners that tripled down and were part of the investment group from the capital raise. So a couple of those, basically the NBA owners are the majority here. And so that's I think really important to remember. But the one other thing we spoke about when I was on with you guys a couple of weeks ago was officiating. And I was like, in fairness, like I wasn't sure, okay, what kind of broad sweeping changes could really be implemented. But that, and I do still think that's true, because I think the officiating, it's a systemic issue, and that the understanding is that these officials are paid far less than NBA officials. And so naturally it is a stepping stone. People get promoted from the W to the NBA, right? So it's a matter of changing that pay structure and then ultimately having more money for the resources part of it. So whether that's independent replay review, which by the way, also would require some of these arenas to be upgraded, because the arenas like Atlanta and Dallas and Connecticut don't even have the technology to be able to see all the angles that like the NBA arenas have. So there's that part of it. Final 2-minute reports, like all these things require money. And priority number one is paying the players, getting the CBA done. Then you can attack the officiating. So that's kind of what I landed on as far as that. But the problem is that once again with Kathy is the communication. Like, had she been more forward and clear about these are the things that we are working on. Like, remember when she addressed at the All-Star break, she was basically just like, we hear your concerns and we're on it. And that's all she said. She didn't say anything about like, how are they addressing this? Now, most recently before the finals, she talked about, well, we're creating this task force and we're going to do this and that. I had heard that they had some administrative hires in last offseason about officiating. She never mentioned that. Like, I just feel like had she just simply listened to the players' concerns and acknowledged them rather than brushing them off, because that was really what made Nafisa blow her stack. She was like, we've been complaining about the officials and we don't know what the hell is going on. Like, so I just think that the relationships, had they been better, had they trusted her more, had she communicated more about officiating and like, look, this is a process. We need to focus on the CBA first, but we're working on it. Like, simply that, I think, would have maybe helped the good faith aspect of the players believe that they are being heard and that this is being worked on. And that's all I want to say about that.
No, it's very clear that communication, it's been central to what you have said this episode is lacking. And I couldn't agree more. I think that, in life in general, communications is a very good thing. And I tend to be, shocking podcast, I tend to be an over communicator rather than under communicator. And I think, the folks in the W front offices could really, use a lesson in that type of communication, because I agree with you. It is very lacking. And did you have one other subtopic within the CBA you wanted to chat about? Or did you want to go, or should we go to some other questions as well? Maybe stuff will come up.
I mean, I'll probably think of something else, but I guess there was another question regarding the revenue share.
Yeah, that's what I was going to transition to next. So let me get the exact phrasing, and then we can kind of frame it how we want to chat about. But Kevin asked, or said, some reports say that WNBA players share less than 10% of the league revenue, while NBA is around 50%. What do you think the share percentage is going to be in the next CBA, given the increased revenue from media rights starting next year? And obviously, this is like a pretty core part of this, not debate,
saga situation. Yeah.
Negotiation right now. And it is complicated by a lot of factors. You've talked about the NBA ownership structure, the way that WNBA is kind of, has been squeezed into this, not as good power position for the negotiation, but how I think they're doing a good job of trying to flip that. So do you have thoughts on, like, is there a number that you think is going to come out, or is it going to be more like, it's not going to be a revenue share exactly. It's going to be more like, here are increases in salaries. And do you think that that's not enough based on your past?
Yeah. So it gets a little bit complicated, and I admit I'm not the best numbers person. I mentioned the report about what's proposed in terms of salary increase. I haven't seen anything specifically on the percentage of revenue. Like, I haven't seen somebody be like, oh, they're going to do 50% or they're going to do 25% or whatever. But you can do some math. And I actually have been reading a lot of David Berry recently. He's an econ professor and author that has researched this backwards and forwards in terms of NBA history and other leagues' histories with CBAs and negotiations and claims of losing money or making money and narratives and all that stuff. And, based on the front office sports report, he kind of broke down, like, that would almost kind of indicate that it's like the W owners paying the 50%, but not like the rest of the owners, which would be odd because, if you're an investor, like, you should also be responsible for the cost. And I know people are going to say, oh, it lost money for so many years and the NBA owners want their money back. Like, I mean, the only like actual public information that we have about the W losing money was Adam Silver back in 2018 saying, well, the W loses 10 million a year. Okay, well, let's say that happened for 25 years and they lost $250 million. Like, they just got, I don't know, 925 million from expansion. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to like downplay it, but it's like,
well, and also like, we know that these big corporations are very good at labeling things as like loss leaders for tax purposes. Like, there's all these games. If they want to tell you it's worth a lot of money, they'll do that. They are so good at twisting these numbers around that it makes it very difficult when it comes down to actually being like, okay, did this make money? Did this not? Can you point to the exact numbers?
Yes.
What are you putting into this way? But like, there's so many games with these corporations that have to deal with millions of dollars, get to deal with millions of dollars, that like when push comes to stuff like this, it actually is very difficult to like really open the books and really know exactly what's going on. Dano, do you have any thoughts on this in particular?
The NBA is 50%. Women should get paid 50%.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's the other thing. So what I was also deducing from these numbers, like I was saying, like, for instance, Barry was wondering, oh, is this just 50% from the W side, which effectively would not be 50% in totality. But then I was thinking, well, maybe they offered 25%. And that's why there's like such a disparity in like again, if you do the math, like what it would be at 50% is more. It's more like 3 million instead of 800,000 or something like that. So again, we don't have that figure specifically, but the sticking point that I keep reading about is something about like the players don't want to be like stuck in like this fixed rate. They want to essentially grow with the league revenue growth. And so not be like, oh, a set percentage. They want it to increase if that revenue is significantly increased. That's my understanding. And so that's where these two sides seem to be super far apart. There was a lot of messaging that was actually reported like today, and they just seem like completely opposite.
Yeah.
Like the league is basically saying, no, we're not offering a capped thing. It's uncapped. And then the league is like, no, it's capped. Like they're just completely saying opposite things. And so this obviously gets really dicey because we would like to have an expansion draft sooner than later. And you kind of need the CBA.
Season too. And I'm going to use that to transition us, because I do think that a lot of people are wondering. So I've got 4 questions. I'm going to rattle these 4 questions.
Okay.
Wes does, what does the WNBA need to do to sustain and grow its momentum? Evan asks, do you think the recent popularity surge will continue, or do you think viewership will stop growing? Adam, how can the WNBA capitalize on its recent spike? Sammy, what can the WNBA do to build a stronger fan base? All these people wondering about this moment and like, how does it grow? Do you think that a lockout season is going to kill some momentum, or do you think that in the long run, if the lockout results in better pay, better referees, and all those things, that in the long run, that is worth it? What are your thoughts on that?
I might be operating from a state of fear because I've wanted this moment for so long, and it's here and it's undeniable at this point. And I just am like, when I started covering the league in 2018, it was such an uphill battle. And it's like, we've come so far. It's been incredible. The product's been incredible. The numbers, like I said, it's just undeniable. And so like, to me, a lockout would be just so fucking annoying and it's just so ridiculous. And, I said a couple of months ago, I said on air on a program I was doing, like, there's not going to be a lockout. They're not that stupid. Like, they're going to figure it out. It's going to come down to the wire, but they'll get it done. And like, obviously as the time is going on and on, I'm like feeling slightly less confident. I hope that there's at least a season. Like if it needs to be delayed, which by the way would be super messy once again with the scheduling stuff. Yeah. But I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that they somehow find common ground. I'm not saying that they can't rebound if there is a lockout, but just, man, that would just suck. It would be freaking unfair. Like after what we've seen the last couple of years, how great it's been, the most exciting players, the hype around it, like it would suck. But to sort of get to the, like, more of those questions, Dano's like a spectator at this point. Sorry, but
I'm just thinking. It's like
please keep thinking. No, what were you gonna say?
No, I like it's the way Jim phrased the question is really good, because it's like you want the best for the players, but selfishly, and I mean, it's just like everything you're saying. It's like you want it to happen, but they need to be paid what they deserve. And and then one other thing I'll say is it kind of goes back to the other question, but like a lot of people reference like that the WNBA lost $50 million last year from a report from the Blaze Media.
Oh.
Do you really think that
And the New York Post,
an alt-right publication is getting inside sources on the WNBA?
Yeah, the Blaze, I would be careful if that's your source. I would at least double.
I've referenced this, Dano, and I saw the report in the Post. Came out the day before the Liberty won a title. And interestingly, there were sources in the Post praising one James Dolan and MSG Company. And I thought,
amazing.
Interesting. With that being said, to me, that report is so irrelevant at this point, because let me be very clear, because I did a video about this in the summer and people still didn't seem to get it. Like the almost $1 billion being made from the expansion fees, the increase in media rights by several times what they were making prior, that 50 million deficit, it's not going to exist. Like, it's just not. And by the way, it was, at first it was 50. And then as the season went on, they were like, actually, it's more like 40. We knew that the prior media rights deal was undervalued for the current state of the league. They were riding that out.
Yeah.
And also the charter flights. We knew that they were going to have to spend $25 million a year on charter flights. So for that right there is a huge chunk of that. So it's totally, in my opinion, it's totally irrelevant. Why? Because the CBA will kick in the same year that these new revenue streams will kick in. And not only that, and the expansion fees, more games, more money, more merch, more concessions, all those things. So it's if someone is still referencing that, oh my God, you're so behind.
And you're cherry picking it for a reason, I think.
Yeah. You got other problems. Some things I wanted some ideas I had to capitalize on momentum.
I like this.
Yeah, perfect.
Positive.
Number one, starting 5 Netflix, but for the W.
Yes,
I like it.
There's so many good characters in W. Like they're derelict in their duty if they don't do
so
that.
much more fun. Stud buds.
Yeah.
Like incredible. Like just you have Dave Portnoy talking about how awesome the stud buds are. Like I mean, like there's just so much proof that would do numbers. Probably better than the NBA one.
Yeah.
And you almost globalize the game too. You know, I don't know. It seems like a no-brainer. Number 2, pull strings, get Asia Wilson to host SNL. Like we've had Peyton Manning do it. Like Asia Wilson's got just as much. Well, she was like she did like a little cameo on Weekend Update, but like I'm talking host.
Ooh, true.
I mean, she's the face of the league.
How many goats are active right now? How many sports have their active goat playing right now?
Yeah, and she has time. It's like you can go watch Bam play, and F in Milwaukee on a Saturday night, or go host SNL.
Yeah,
I think this is a great idea. They need to get on it.
And she's so like she would kill.
Yeah.
She would do really well.
Usher could be the performer, the musical.
Oh yeah,
like they have they're friends.
Amazing. Those are the only ideas I had. Just get into entertainment.
I know they're good ideas. And Maria, I know you wanted to transition into the building on the positive side of it. How do you build on the stronger fan base? How do you sustain?
Yeah. So I think, look, obviously, just getting the CBA done and having a season, in my opinion, would be really all you need, because the momentum has been such an organic build that, like, there's no stopping it, right? Like, I think we need to get away from this like assumption that we need to do something crazy to like keep this going in the right direction, because when Caitlin Clark was a senior, the skeptics or the traditionalists were like, well, we'll see if this translates to the W. But meanwhile, all of us knew, like, of course it's going to freaking translate to the W. Like, what are all these people that are obsessed with her just going to stop watching? Like, are they just going to forget she exists and like forget all the other players that they also were introduced to and are fans of? And then what happened, right? So last season it was like bonkers numbers, and then the thing was like, well, let's see if it. I got to see if it lasts next season. Let's see if it like stays next season. And guess what? Like, yeah, it sucks. Like Caitlin was injured. The ratings were better this year. They were better this year. The attendance was better this year. Valkyries led in attendance. Like Liberty attendance went. The whole league attendance went up still. And so like, I think we need to like just get off of this like assuming, and I don't think it's the people that are the fans of the W. I think it's the outsiders that still, aren't like, they still don't get it, or they still think of like this just outdated narrative of like why would it stop? Like that's what answers. Like why again? Like why would people just stop? Why I don't know. I think the assumption,
and we've talked about this on the podcast before about like how the W has been dragged into culture wars, and when you are in a culture war, people will cherry pick stats, they'll cherry pick anecdotes, they'll create narratives. When you're in the culture war morass, like all sorts of nonsense happens, and I think the W unfortunately did get dragged into that, and so you just see people creating narratives wholesale out of thin air. That like, and we've talked about before, and Kathy has put her foot in her mouth when talking about kind of culture war stuff of like, it gets us more eyeballs, but it's like you don't need that, Kathy. You have eyeballs without the nonsense. So I think that's one like that doesn't need to be, don't lean into that kind of stuff, and the growth is there, like you said. But Dano, any final thoughts on growth and stuff like this? I want to try and keep us under an hour. I've got a couple questions left. So do you have any thoughts there?
One final thought. NBA Topps product, like trading cards released today. Released this week, $229. WNBA Donruss, so like Paige's rookie year, releases tomorrow. $500 for Hobby Box. Like, come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's there. It really is. So that's a very nice like statistical. You like look at this. There's not being made up. So before the final two questions, just quickly want to point out that the NBA season is back. We got opening night last night, full slate tonight. If you haven't already, it's time to sign up for Action Pro. You have real-time pick alerts from experts like Matt Moore, Brandon Anderson, Joe Delera, the entire Action Network team. I loaded up like something like 15 bets on there today, so hopefully you had those notifications on. Plus, you can access pro projections powered by Sean Kerner, predictive analytics team across all your favorite sports to bet on. So go to actionnetwork.com/pro, get $20 off the annual price with the promo code Buckets20. Don't miss out on all the best bets at the best prices. Visit actionnetwork.com/pro. Use the promo code Buckets20 to get $20 off a year of Action Pro. All right, final two questions here. Let's go with this one first, because I know you had thoughts on this one as well, Maria, about the game structure. So Stephen asked thoughts on game structure in W, quarter length, halves versus quarters, foul limit, things like that. I'll go to you first, and then we'll get to Dano thoughts as well.
Keep it 40 minutes forever. I don't want longer games. I love 40 minutes. This is another thing that the NBA did, I don't know how long ago, and it's fine, but I actually prefer 40-minute games. Like, I just think that it's crisper. There's less of the, the end of the NBA games can be really dragged out and like hard to watch, frankly. The international game for men's and women's is 40 minutes. The Olympics last year were so freaking good. Men's and women's, like the men's Olympic, like the 40-minute game was sick. Like it was just like none of the bullshit. Like, so I hope that, like, I don't think you always have to go with, for the W, you don't always have to go the way that NBA goes. So, I mean, has first quarters, what are we even talking about? Why do men's college basketball play halves. I don't freaking know. Like, they shouldn't be playing halves. Quarters are way better. It's just a better pace. Foul limit, I'll just add this. I agree very much with Sue Bird, who has been on her various podcasts preaching this now for like a bit. She's like, why does the W, with a 40-minute game, why do they have 6 fouls? She feels that it should be 5, like it is with the international game, like it is with the college game, because while, you don't want your best players to foul out, you're also essentially allowing for, like, say 12 additional fouls to happen to your best player. So you're naturally inviting more physicality. You're naturally inviting more opportunity for injury. And I do think the players will adjust if you had 5 fouls. So I like 5 fouls. So that's my take on all that.
Well, I'll circle back really quick to game length just to say every other sport out there right now is trying to shorten their games. Don't go and do the opposite. Yes. You have the thing that everyone wants right now. Don't go and wreck it. So I don't know. Dana, are you with me and Maria on game length and foul limit?
Yeah. Well, foul limit, whatever. Doesn't bother me. So I totally agree on game time scores. There's only one issue I have in the game, besides like the refs and illegal screens. It's jump balls. Ooh. I think they're fucking stupid.
Yeah, you just love possession arrows, right?
Yes, dude, it's so fucking stupid. The refs can't even throw it right. Like half the time it's like they just like, will push the player to have a violation. It's so dumb. Just go to a possession arrow.
A rare old school thing for me. I kind of love the jump ball with the two actual people. So.
I'll do it at the beginning of the game in overtime, but I will not. I'm so tired of it. I text. I was put on to this take by Sabrina Merchant, and like if you go back and watch some of these jump ball tosses, holy shit.
Yeah, but that to me is fix the referee problem, not fix this. Like let's get some referees that can throw the ball up.
But even still, like I just think I love it in college. I think it's fantastic.
That's fair.
It's cleaner.
It's electric because I played D3. It's not nothing big, but when you get that jump ball, it's like you don't know in your head. You just can look over there, and it's like it's exhilarating. Look at that table.
It's on the sideline.
Yeah.
So
that's my only thing.
Okay, I love that. All right, let's wrap with the last one here. Addison asks, I wanted to ask how you guys would handle the draft moving forward. I feel like there's too many first and second rounders not making teams. They're forced to quit basketball. I'll say they usually are forced to go play overseas. But basically, the playing elsewhere isn't sustainable. I think, I would quibble with the end of that sentence, the end of that question there. But I do think we can all agree that, the draft, it is a bummer to see folks who are beloved in college and there's just not room for them on rosters. I mean, the very natural thing is expansion is going to address some of that. But do you guys have any other thoughts on this question?
Yeah, I think there might be too many bigger fish to fry where I'm not sure that we're going to see expanded rosters in the CBA. We might. And I think that's something that players have certainly talked about as wanting, and I think could be helpful because we see how many players were on hardship contracts, and it would be nice for some players to have a little bit more continuity that deserve it, and not have to go like from team to team. But yeah, the expansion obviously will, I think, help a lot with that. And I don't think we're going to see a talent drop off. I'm not worried about that. Only thing is, like the Golden State model, we saw a couple college players get looks, but we saw a lot of international players take those spots. And so I'm wondering, like, okay, I'm just wondering what the makeup of these teams. Are we going to see more college stars that we're used to, or is that going to be backfilled more with like internationals?
Dano, any thoughts on that? I think that's a really good point.
I've tweeted things like when the team's playing bad, like, this is an argument against expansion. Like, I'm sorry, just because a player is really good in college does not mean they're going to be among, the whatever 156 or whatever it is now. Like, some players just are not that good. There's a lot of great college men's players who go play overseas too.
Yeah,
right.
like it is very hard. It's the best league in the world, most talented women in the world. It's hard to make it. Do I wish that we had a developmental league or something like that? Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like Maria said, bigger fish to fry.
Right, and I would also add though, Jim, like what we've seen in the W, which is very cool and very unique, is older rookies and players that, you know, it took a beat and they were played overseas, but then they come and they're actually really, what was that?
So shout out my girl, Lexi.
Yeah, Lexi. I mean, how about Akoa Makani? The other one on Phoenix too, Kat Westfeld. Like they were like, you know, the poster children for that. But like, but they're not the only ones. I mean, how about Shea Petty? Like I remember when she came in the league, she was an older rookie and playoff Petty, man. I mean, she's been awesome. And so I would also add that like maybe it's not that first shot, but like there's always opportunity down the road, I think.
Excellent. I love ending on that note. Thank you all for all the questions. Honestly, we're going to do it again next year. It provided content for like months. So thanks, Dano, for pushing that out and rewarding the folks with some prizes on the mailbag as well. And I want to say very quickly, and I'll get super quick thoughts because we're pushing up on an hour here, but Toronto Tempo hired Sandy Brondello. So if you tailed that really long shot championship, to me, that is a hire you make if you're going for it right off the bat. I think Sandy is a good, she's good at building a team, but to me, Sandy is a hire you make if you're like, let's make the playoffs and be in this year one. So, Dano, what are your thoughts on the Sandy hiring by Toronto?
I think she's that good.
But I know you are not saying person, but do you think that is the person you hire if you're like, we're building this for the long term?
I mean, I think it's a great coach to get the franchise kicked off fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think Sandy is a player who or a coach who needs to have players that she trusts, because she's really hands off, kind of just implement systems. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I was thinking long shot wise, like, I was hoping she'd go to the Wings. I felt like it was a perfect fit, and I wanted to throw some money there because I feel like people are going to want to play with Paige. They're moving to a new arena, playing downtown. It's going to be so much better for them. But yeah, I mean, also like, I don't know, I guess the players don't know too much about do the players have to go through customs every time they enter the country? Like,
that's a good question. Maybe not on charter.
They probably have expedited, but yeah, I think they probably do have to do some sort of check before.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Wait, the Blue Jays are winning one will be good for Toronto. I don't need them winning a WNBA championship next year. Let's keep that
Maria,
here.
Will you back me up on Toronto, or are you out on Toronto as well?
No, I'm super excited for Toronto. I mean, I think Golden State proved that kind of anything is possible, and Sandy might not necessarily be the coach that's going to win you a championship, but she is a coach that's going to get you to the playoffs perennially, for sure. And it sounds so disrespectful to say that because she just won a chip last year, but I do hesitate in terms of, I think she's like not at the very top of the best coaches. I think she's maybe right there, but like not quite. I don't know. I feel bad. I freaking love Sandy. She's great. And she's a great coach.
Great person.
Now I hope Toronto wins because now I just feel so bad. But
all right, we'll end on the Toronto.
Wait, I just wanted to say I like the way Jim says Toronto. It makes me think he's Canadian.
It's because I grew up in Vermont where we drop our T's, which is like a Canadian thing. Yeah. Do I say Toronto?
Okay.
I grew up in Vermont.
What's that? Yeah.
I didn't know you grew up in Vermont.
Yeah, I drop all my T's. Yeah, so Toronto. Yeah, it does sound Canadian.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to say thanks, you guys, for letting me, get all my thoughts out that I've been bottling up the last 2 weeks with no outlet.
WNBA Buckets is for.
Exactly. Thank you.
Really good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know it wasn't as bet eccentric, but these are really important discussions that do define the future of the league that we like to bet on. So thank you both for coming on for our kind of season recap here. We will not be in your feeds for a while. Obviously, go check out Buckets NBA. We'll be doing that for a while now. And then we will be back. I might do one or two off-season ones here or there if there's some news that demands it or a bet that has to be made on the W front. But otherwise, obviously download the Action Network app, like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, rate and review if you're doing it as a podcast. And my usual thanks to David Payne on audio, Gifford Gould on YouTube, for Maria and Dano, and for the last time for a little while, let's get buckets.